to this incredibly prestigious, I should say, welcome everybody to yet another incredibly prestigious Nym Shipyard event. This one is the Visionary track, and today you're going to be finding out about the thing that you asked a lot of questions about. So you're going to be finding out about how to form squads and how things will go going forward when it comes to squads. And to do that, I have brought on the two owners of the squad track, actually. So you know both of these guys. Today I have with me Huxian. Say hi to the people.
Hello, nice to be back for yet another amazing session.
And also, of course, Mykola, who's Nym's ambassador manager. How's it going, Mykola?
Hey, I'm trying to do this. Oh, I'm a pro.
Oh, nice. I think I can also do that. Look.
Here we go. No,
not with this. Not with this hand though. For some reason, I can't do it with my. Oh, I can. Wow.
Hi, everyone.
Crazy.
Yeah, and
hi, everyone.
Just some very important information. We had a call before together, the three of us, and decided that we're gonna wear black hoodies and black baseball caps. But Sudo doesn't have a baseball cap, so
exactly. It was one of the important decisions that we made before this workshop as part of the preparations. All right. So do you guys want to set things up? What is this about? What are you trying to answer with this one?
Yeah. So we've been working really hard how to leave the broadest space for squads to emerge and form from shipyard attendees and also from cool people outside or just vaguely in connection with the Nym community. So this is what we came up with. We hope you like it. And, just to highlight that this is sort of a co-creative work in progress, so we're super open to feedback, suggestions, not just here on the workshop, but across all channels, So this also includes what we're going to present also includes lots of suggestions, what we got already from Nymjas, from squad members, so feel free to reach out, ask questions. We hope to have included everything that you might need at this point. So I don't know, Mykola?
And I think that important part of this workshop / co-creative session is about sharing experience and also sharing Nym plus community members in broader terms, how they collaborate each other, what's the best way to approach us, what's the best way to find an avenues, how to co-create wonderful things from events to content. And it always matters because we are here to help people and empower them on their journey with the squad building or individual contribution to Nym community.
Exactly. There's only one thing that I would like to add here, which I mentioned here and there before. So Shipyard was a big chunk of work, and of course a lot of stuff has happened over the past month or so, and also before that, leading up to Shipyard. But still, the most excited, the thing that I get most excited about are still squads. We already see some pretty amazing examples, and I can't wait to see what kind of work you guys are going to be doing over time. So this is super exciting to me as well. Before we get started, a question to you guys: do you want me to share my screen and your deck, or do you want to do it yourself?
Can you share from the file? That would be amazing, Sudo.
Of course, yes.
Thank you.
Wait a second. It's not time for this yet. Because before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that, as always, which is probably something that you already know, but there is going to be a Q&A at the end. So make sure to leave your questions either in the YouTube or the Twitch chat, or you can also leave them on the general chat of the Nym Community Matrix server. We're also keeping an eye there so that you don't have to log in with your Google account if you want to preserve your privacy. So yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye on questions. Make sure to ask yours, but hopefully a lot of the questions that you guys had over the past few weeks about squads, we got quite a few of them, are going to be answered by the end of this this beautiful presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and take it away, guys.
Fantastic, thank you, Sudo. So let's go next slide, as we covered the title already. So today we're going to present about three things. We're going to present the squad selection process. We're going to talk about some squad operations, what kind of tips and tricks we have, what ideas we collected, what examples we saw, and sort of what hints we can give on how to operate or manage or create a good squad. And the second part, or the other half, is when instead of a Q&A, where you can bring your questions for sure, but if you bring, suggestions or ideas, that's even more welcome here, because this is actively being shaped already by the community by and large, and we're here to basically capture all of your perspectives and opinions on that. So let's get into the presentation part. Next slide, please, Sudo. Yes, so we thought to start with the with the drum roll most expected and awaited part. So let's have a look at the fantastic next slide, where I made a chart, which is a bit more funky than usual, but represents adequately my mental state at this point of how much can I organize like nice arrows. So basically, what's going to happen step by step, that we open the squad impact proposal submission forms today, and everybody will have time until the 16th of November, which is one day before the end of the entire shipyard. Then these proposals are going to be evaluated based on formal criteria. Initially, they're going to be scored by the shipyard team, and the top maximum 10 applicants, which are either squads or individuals, will be selected by the Nym team. 2 weeks time after the shipyard closes, along with the delegation program grantees and the hackathon winners too. So prepare for a big announcement when we're going to reveal all who won or who get green light on passing forward. Now, basically that gives 2 weeks for all squads from applying to start, showing, delivering, exposing their work, and basically very close to the announcement, we're going to have a public presentation session, which we call the first milestone presentation at the end of November. So after this, with the submitted application and the presentation, we have a good way to compare, what people promised or what people sort of written down in the application and what they did in those 2 weeks that they had, time to develop, produce content, or to create new stuff. So basically, then 10 selected maximum, and there's another similar milestone of presentations again in 2 weeks time, in early mid-December, which we call the second milestone presentation and the last one for this year, which again gonna get evaluated by the team, and the team's gonna decide which maximum 10, as already been 10 squads or individuals in this process, maximum 10 is gonna get rewarded. And there's a third milestone, similar with a presentation and with a decision early next year. This might sound complicated, but as usual, we're gonna, keep everyone updated across all channels with all the details. But and also there's a blog post which I just published online, where you can read all these steps in details if you haven't been taking notes on this slide. Next slide, Sudo, please. Yes, so in the following sections, and we're gonna do it, together with Mykola here. Like, we just try to give some tips for squads, what to keep in mind, what to pay attention to, what sort of expectations Nym team has regarding what squads create and how they operate, or kind of what best practices we could collect. So make sure to bookmark the Linktree link, which collects all the important visionary track links with the Notion doc, with the guides, with the examples, and everything you can find in one place there. So basically, like, starting from very high level, if a squad has plans and iterates transparently, sort of roadmaps are one great way to show that you have a vision and a plan, and you know how to change, the plan as you go along, because you figure out stuff. So it's super normal to change what you sort of set out to do as you go along and do those things. Also, the other very important thing regarding transparency is to have open channels for discussions. Have a channel at least open where the squad's larger community can join, can have a discussion, or new people can join, and your discussion. And also sort of try to communicate as much openly as possible. Just one side note here: it's okay to have less active members and more active members in a squad. So we don't really look for individual star performances. We look for a good team who can work together, and who might have some less active members at the beginning, but some of those might be able to step up next year, or anything that ensures that the squad's running long and prosperously. So this is from me, quality over quantity. I really like this because I think if generally if the focus is being put on creating quality content and creating quality ideas and working on those ideas, that's where the magic lies. It's not about creating 10,000 copied Twitter posts about something. How good is that if there's no merit and no work behind it? So if you have to choose, please do choose quality. So don't underestimate hidden treasures. What I mean under this is that there's many more introverted individuals who can join squads, who can bring tremendous knowledge and know-how and skills to your team without this person necessarily being able to talk about this super good. So we're not all very good in marketing and talking about stuff, but some people are really good in doing stuff. So make sure to don't miss any hidden treasures. Consistency is key. What I mean under this is, if you show up regularly, if you present on the channels, if you participate in discussion, if you let us know what you've been up to on a regular basis, then that's the best you can do. And basically that's how you gain, and that's how the squad can gain trust also throughout the whole ecosystem. And with this, with the persistent performance or persistent presence, you shape trust of the entire Nym community. One important thing here, I'm not sure why did I put it here, but if you apply as a squad on the application form, it's enough if you submit only one application from the member that will be the point of contact for the team to connect. Mykola, do you want to add here anything? Did I miss anything here?
Yeah, generally speaking, I would say that start doing something as early as possible. And what's important, that it's the two-way or even three-way communication. One way is, generally speaking, you're recruiting people into your squad. Another thing is like you're searching for a squad on behalf of a skillful potential squad member, and then there's a whole Nym team collaboration. So the faster you start the whole process, don't wait till the end once it's a deadline for applying as a squad. Highlight your squad as a draft as early as possible, share it publicly, because then the magic will happen. Some interesting people will be inspired by your idea. They will join you early stage, and then they will shape the way squad will be built early on for better. And then maybe it will empower your squad liveliness, general squad vibes. And the same goes for the cool people who are a bit shy on, or they don't have any squad. Go there, highlight your skills. We will go through this a bit later within this presentation, but the earlier you start, the better you will perform within the visionary track. That's important. And Discord here is your tool to perform these things.
Until you're selected, because then we move to Matrix, but that's a later stage. Next slide, please. So thank you, Mykola, for this very cool insights or input. Okay, so here's some other kind of tips or from another perspective, as in what kind of content would be really nice to see if you create. So this is not mandatory. It's just, again, inspirational ideas that basically what the whole project is really looking for, or really would help the project go forward and increase the impact of it, is to demonstrate real-world use cases of the Nym Mixnet. Not just in general about increasing privacy, but really specifically where and how can it help, what kind of groups of people, what kind of causes, and related to this, if any squads or any individuals in these squads manage to gather and expose real-world stories, where metadata leaks have been causing problems, or maybe causing financial damage, or some social damage, or stories about people and communities running the nodes themselves, if you feel comfortable with sharing a bit of your story, why do you run a node, why you're here in the community, or stories of people using the technology around the globe, that's kind of really helpful at this stage of development. So we're always looking for these, with open arms. One other, being the most important thing for the whole community, is to foster and create a strong mixed node and gateway infrastructure operating community. So that's why we encourage everyone individually and also the squads to start running nodes. We don't expect you to have a fully saturated node in 2 days. That's not what we expect. We kind of want to just see that it's something that's definitely part of a sustainable business model of a squad, let's say, operating infrastructure. So what we also would love to see from individual squad members or individuals to join as early adopters and testers, not just for the Nym VPN, but other products that are being developed. And here's a link where you can do that. It's a Matrix channel. We're going to be sharing updates and sort of expecting the community to give feedback, to test certain versions, to decide if it's a button should be green or black, and more complicated things even. And the last thing on this list, as like content hints, is that since what Nym is building is highly technical and quite complex. It's a blockchain, the mixnet in the same place, the tokenomics. So the more high quality visual explainers you can create of the technology and certain use cases or certain processes, that's always super useful, especially even more so in your own local language, because in English we have quite already some, but there's a huge need for local language for explainers, infographics, and sort of articles explaining what Nym is building and what impact it's having in local languages.
Can I jump here?
Yeah, sure.
So generally speaking, just today, Max, who is our DevRel person, as you know, from Shipyard, created an internal chat for me and Huxian asking like, hey, there are community members who wants to contribute with translations in Russian and Persian. And they had really great and extensive experience on translating materials in relation with the technical documentation and stuff. And he was asking how the process goes on, we want to do it and stuff like that. And here we really encourage people to kind of like be proactive, go and show the best of your skills, prove that you really understand the technology, a complex technology, and then approach people like me, Huxian, Max, and others like, hey, we really understand your tech. Here's what cool things we could do for you. Here's a practical example. Let's talk. The same works for the squads. Whenever your idea, try to think around what could be the first fast prover that will show that this is really what we need. And you really understand how not just we work, but how in general, the open source technology works, how the bigger community, horizontal communities, knowledge is transferred within them. It really helps. Thanks.
Great, super good. We can go next slide, Sudo, I think, with that. Because in the next section, we're going to dive a bit deeper into just a general educative session on squad operations, on DAO operations, how to, for those people who are really new to this space and who never never been involved in a DAO or creating similar things. We're going to give an overview of what squads are, how they might want to communicate, how they might want to operate. This is just it's like a restaurant menu of recommendations and general insights. So it's nothing that you should take word by word, although you can get inspiration from here. Next slide, please, Sudo. Thank you. So four parts about communication, about squad governance, about fund management. And again, there's even more tips and tricks what to keep in mind. So we prepared a lot of stuff that hopefully help you inspire. Okay, next slide, please, Sudo. The simplest way to think about squads or DAOs, this equals the same, is a chat room with a shared bank account. So basically a community having an online presence and managing a shared treasury at one point. Now we can, next slide, and we can have a look at one of the most detailed or hard, next slide, please, Sudo. And on this, we can have a look how if someone's a DAO maximalist would achieve, these goals and do it the most sophisticated on-chain manner. But there's some lines here on this image which are universally applicable for all squads. Like founded on a shared goal, that's something that we expect all squads to have, a shared goal that you found the thing upon. A multi-sig wallet to operate the shared treasury is something that not readily out of the box available at this moment to handle Nym on a multi-sig, but there are other ways to work around this, like social contracts or trusted setups, which we don't expect anyone to have a perfect solution. We expect people to have ideas how they want to manage funds collectively without necessarily running a multi-sig. Bottom-up governance, I think that's super important because we're all believers of decentralization and community inclusion. So that also goes for the squads here in this track. And kind of the rest are just ideas from the DeFi world. So trustless, meaning that it's operated by a smart contract, hard-coded DAO rules, membership via tokens and NFTs, highly transparent, very participatory. It's a proposal process, and all these other things are important in some cases, less important in other cases, but it's always good to have a full picture of where you can develop and what can you automate and how can you become a fully autonomous, permissionless DAO at one point if you want to be.
What will be, Huxian, what will be the one thing out of this list people should at this point pay bigger attention to?
Well, that's a good question. I think that I would pick out like three things because kind of those are the same, different sides of the same coin for me. So any stakeholder can propose an idea, bottom-up governance, and found it in a shared goal. So those are all soft, things, so not super, hard-coded things. But I think that those are the most important to actually create a organization which can function well. What would be your take? You choose the same, or?
Generally speaking, I would say here that things that are called funded on a shared goal, I would say make it more friendship-based, make organization with the people you mutually like for any reason. It could be a personal reason, professional reason, geographical reason, shared language and stuff, because this bond will tie you pretty fast and will help you to overcome all the challenges that your squad could have in the future. And then if you will have a technical challenge like set up a multi-sig, you will find a way. If you will have some sort of challenge on how to align what will be the next project you would work on, again, if you have a healthy horizontal conversations around the squad members, this would work super fine. So also search and seek for the human qualities behind the nicknames, behind the skill sets and stuff. And then reaching that shared goal will be much more easier and also much more fun. I guess that let's add here something about fun, no?
This should be all about fun, yes. That's missing from this very thorough list, yeah. If you don't have fun, you're not at the right place. Next slide, please, Sudo. That's a good, and yeah, so just for everybody, keep it relaxed. No one size fits all solution. You have to kind of come up with your own rationale for your own vision and with your own solutions. So there's no beanie that fits all heads. Next slide, please. And that's kind of the other. So you can create your own reality. You can create, a structure that is in line with your goals. Choose your ingredients on your pizza. Very important. Never forget not to put pineapples on your pizza. It's crossed out on this list. That's the only requirement here. But anything else, can go on your squad's pizza. Just joking, of course. Next slide, please, Sudo. Yeah, so the next part is communications. So basically, Mykola already touched on this, but I'm just going to go through this and let's talk a little bit about. I think how Mykola said earlier too, it's kind of there's at least a three-way communication or multiple. You have to communicate to different audiences at the same time as a squad. You want to expose your work for impact. Have a website, have a GitHub, have a link tree maybe to show your links and all the things that you are doing or creating, and also have channels for social communication, like a Nostr channel, Telegram, Mastodon, Matrix. There's plenty of choices what you can make. We don't really prefer any of these. I mean, the more privacy preserving, the better it is, of course, but whatever works with your kind of community and squad. I think the other one is to be open and welcoming, and this is what we said with the fun part and with the human element, how Mykola put the human factor. I think have a platform for permissionless discussion, where it's more about getting to know the other persons, sharing the ideas, and figuring out how to work together. It shouldn't be about anything like exclusivity, or shouldn't be safeguarding information. We're all about transparency, co-creation, and working together for a shared goal.
I have an idea here.
Yeah.
Try to invent your own rituals. Maybe it's like the phrase, how you like your coded phrase or your outlook or your visuals, like a logo. Because this thing will also, it's like in a way like in the football clubs with the jerseys. different colors, different brands, different styles, different designs. And it's kind of the way you package yourself, and also the way how you play around the squad, and also how you communicate. You can use lots of emojis. You can use lots of visual slang, urban language and stuff like that. This would really make it. It will help to make it much more cozy and homey, so you will feel there like at home, and it's really precious to feel like that within your squad.
Yes, exactly. Let's move on then. I think we're going super good. Sudo, next slide, please. Oh yeah. So next part, we wanted to share some insights or experiences around governance of a squad. So basically, at the heart of governance is the way how you decentralize operations, which equals transparency and empowerment. So that's the reasons, that's the driving force behind decentralization. To have a governance model also in line with your values. If you believe in dictatorship and want to run a dictatorship, like sort of one singular leader and 5 people doing what the leader says, that's also fine. It's just it's a lot harder for other people to join and to see what's happening behind the scenes. So it's going to be a lot it's going to be a lot more exclusive and a lot less accessible for other people. Also, kind of the earlier you start describing the governance process that you outlined, as Mykola also just mentioned before, the better it is, and just iterate it afterwards. So basically, a governance process means that you should describe how do you decide on what you do, and who decides, who decides who's in or out, how can anyone apply, how do the members make a decision. And you don't really need to overcomplicate this. There's many templates and there's many examples already out there. You just need to come up with sort of the first version that you can imagine that it's working also in practice. And if it's not working out for you, just change it, but make sure that to keep this part in mind. Yeah, so two other smaller tips: to consider a governance forum or a separate chat from the community chat, because that's sort of needed to have like a more insiders, like a forum or another Signal group where members can have really in-depth discussions around things that the squad is doing or not doing. Just a question here, it's also worth maybe framing it like that: how do you reach consensus in your squad? How do you decide? So think hybrid in terms of technology. You can have off-chain. Most of the elements at this point in time for most of the new squads are going to be off-chain. So we don't expect to have everything on-chain, but we do kind of hope for people to realize that the more stuff they can put on-chain and the more automation they can put in their squad's operation, the easier it will be for the squad to grow and to create more impact as more people can join permissionlessly. And also, a last one from me on this is to think in cycles. When you sort of think about the governance, also imagine how long a certain setup should be run or tested. So you cannot iterate every day because that would kill operations. You have to set a sort of time frame which works for you, like a period that what people can commit, who's being really active now, and sort of try to run with one setup till then. And have a time frame, set that, measure your performance at the end of the time frame, and sort of evaluate if you want to do something very differently or you want to just tweak some knobs on the machine. Mykola?
I will add here that please do talk to each other. The government starts with, generally speaking, expressing each other's opinion. Try not to interrupt when person is sharing ideas. Try to embrace the culture of openness and listening to each other, because then it will help you to align, and there will be less burden on what emotions people experiencing being a part of organization. And at the same time, try to start with the small goals and the voting process. When generally speaking, instead of maybe deciding on big, dramatic, complex processes or projects, you start with something smallish, kind of like, what would we do this week? And you raise hands or votes digitally, it doesn't matter right now, but then you test a certain, let's say, alignment, what people are thinking about, where do they want to go, And the faster you would understand the nuances in between of each team member, especially because when you have a different skill sets, the faster you will find out the way for a perfect governance. And don't try to think that from the first week you will have the perfect system. Think of this as a startup process. Try to do a prototype, then move to MVP, then for a better system in the future. Don't put too much pressure on yourself that from the first time you will prototype super great governance and not do and execute cool projects. So try to balance these things within your starting journey to the perfect governance process. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Super good points. I just want to maybe say the same thing that CGI said yesterday: how to design, how to build applications on Nym. Keep it stupid simple. I think this applies here. You know, the simplest you can keep your processes and ideas, and just see how they work. The best chance you have, you know, to evolve it well.
And one funny thing that people sometimes neglect: think about it, that some team member would be sick tomorrow. What will happen? So also keep in mind that some people could come, go, I don't know, as I said, sickness, lack of power, some life nuances. And then in a way, the squad should perform, especially when you support each other and you kind of try to build this kind of, I guess the friendship framework. So also think about not just when person is missing, but how to help this person, because then this person will help you, and this is a mutual trust, and the governance is a process exactly of mutual trust.
Super good. And this really ties in well with the next slide, please, Sudo, where we talk a little bit about funds and collectively managing funds. As I mentioned earlier, currently the only way sort of to manage a multi-sig of Nym is to manage it socially, tackling the lack of an easy-to-use platform. What does it mean? Like, we really expect all squads to have an idea of what sort of system they laid out socially, which ensures that if the person, you know, who handles that Nym account, that the grant goes on, disappears tomorrow, that's not gonna happen, you know. So we don't. There's no perfect solution. We hope that you're all trusting each other by now enough, or by the point that you submit the application enough, that you know you have a good solution for where to receive the funds. But we also would like to see, you know, some contingency and some forward thinking, because that's kind of also the longevity and the resilience of the squad here. And yeah, and just two more ideas here, that gradually it would be preferred or sort of expected for all squads, not this year maybe, but just, you know, as you find solutions or you find your ways to move from these kind of trusted setups where there's only a social contract in managing the funds toward trustless setups. So because it reduces the overall risks and increasing the overall trust, as we described before. And also there's a number of interesting ideas or ways how this could be done. So maybe start with the secret Nym on secret network, which is also a Cosmos chain which has cool DAO tooling. Maybe just do a Bitcoin multisig and sort of figure out how to, you know, transfer the grant to that multisig and handle that multisig. Another Cosmos solution would be the Juno chains DAO engine, which is already an existing DAO solution on the Cosmos ecosystem. So there are many interesting ideas and ways how anyone could figure out a new way and hopefully share it with the rest of the community, how to manage funds collectively in a nice way. Yeah, and super important is if you decide to do short reports, which is also not mandatory, but super good because it helps you expose what you've been doing, to sort of include how you spend, you know, what did you do with the money? How did you spend it? What impact did it make? Mykola, what do you want to add here on the funds?
Yeah, at first I have this idea that go and check Web3 Foundation grants program on how people are reporting on the milestones. And I guess that one of the cool things that people could create around squad structure is the public reporting on the operations, because then it increases significantly trust that the squad could really manage communal wealth. And in this sense, organizations or projects could trust them with more incentives in this sense. And there are multiple tools, but the more transparent you are within reporting and also the milestones, the better. Second, I would also think around the culture, how you spend the money. In which sense? Sometimes you will have unexpected third-party contractors and other collaborators who come and go. So don't think of the treasury in terms of kind of like a salary. More think about this as kind of like organizational budget. And then how you spend the budget is much more complex than just on yourself. Sometimes it's a hosting provider, sometimes subscription service, sometimes, I don't know, a cool logo, external designer. Sometimes it's the trip to the conference. Sometimes it's something like a taxi. So be versatile and flexible with where exactly you can spend your funds, because it will make your project delivery much more mature. And it will also show that you understand the complex environment around your project. And also the gas fees. Sometimes people are forgetting that you need to pay for transactions sometimes, especially when there are other types of wallets all around. You need to exchange currencies. So think about this as well on your road to maturity and how you manage funds. Also, what's important, when the new members are coming and join the squad, they will always ask, okay, you received a certain grant, support, how you spend your money, what's the system there? And the more transparent system is, the more trust you will get from the newcomers, because then newcomers would understand, I could join tomorrow, I could do lots of things, what we call contribution, in a meaningful way, and then there will be reward, or at least some sort of reliable approach to how people are managing funds. Thanks.
Super good, thank you. All right, next slide, please, Sudo. I think we only have last 5 slides. 3 of it is heavier with lots of ideas and inspiration, and 3 is like the summary at the end. So let's get right into it. Next slide, please. So one thing that we highly recommend all squads, not for every member, but at least one squad should have at least someone who's operating a node which is running sort of in the colors of the squad. Why? Because it's the most sustainable way to enable long-term sustainability for the squad. Because how the Nym ecosystem works is basically stake equals to community trust. So the more trust you sort of establish inside the community with the content, with developments, with your ideas, with your presence, the more people will start staking on your nodes, which means the more rewards will those nodes get. If you do it well, you can earn quite a nice sum from running high-quality nodes which everyone trusts. And this is kind of the hard-coded way how inside the Nym token economics ecosystem, you can make money as a team of people. So basically, this is same thing here, converting your social credit and trust gained across the ecosystem to delegations. Also, one thing which is super important, just if you develop tools and ideas on how Nym could help real-life people and communities, and we don't expect fully fledged applications with a year long of development behind. What we would love to see is kind of all squad or certain members who have this sort of creativity think about how the technology could really help certain communities that you're involved in. So if you can develop a proof of concept, that's super good. If you can only develop some screenshots or wireframes how this application would work or what we would need here, that's also already super good, because and when you frame an idea, when you put out an idea to the larger community, I'm sure, as Mykola said before also, that you're going to find a developer who can code that thing for you, who can help find someone else, maybe who can code it for you. So basically, this is kind of the gist of it, to be transparent, open, and share ideas, and also start running nodes or start thinking about running nodes.
Actually, some tips about running nodes. First of all, there are some super cool Nym for Good nodes related projects will appear in LATAM, and they are already functioning. Is that just as the squad and this well-written thing, it will appear pretty soon. But what I saw within our operations, that we have lots of core team members, partners, who are willing to delegate or stake their own tokens when they see a really mixed node that they believe in. So if you start thinking about the mix node as a brand, like what's the purpose of this mix node? Because this mix node could represent you as a squad or you as an individual. And sometimes you can say that mix node is that metaphorical, not technical gateway to world's biggest solutions. And I know how to do it. And if you will write down really well how it works, you can see lots of support from our team. You can see that we are not just supporting you directly, but we promote your node within our socials. We go and tell about your squad and your mixed node at the conferences. We go and maybe even outreach VCs, other partners who can help you to scale your operations. So think of this as a startup and think of approach node running creatively. And remember, you can always run in a cloud. And as for development on Nym, there are many people like Pondflake, CGI Bean in the community who could help you. Just go and ask questions. Always ask questions. Like, don't, we embrace newcomers to come. We don't oppose on you this approach that we are the masters and you are no one. We want to hear even the slightest challenges, so then we could solve them whenever it's documentation, SDK related issues and stuff like that. But then there are also community members who could guide you and help you. And building these connections is crucial for the next product releases on Nym. Thanks.
There are no stupid questions, only people who don't listen. Yeah, living by that. Next slide, please, Sudo. Oh, can you? We already covered this. Can you just go one, two? Sorry for this. I moved this, but next one, please. So these we all covered in the beginning. I just left a duplicate. Apologies for the editorial confusion here. So to sum it up, we're gonna finish with three, I think, kind of our most important things, how we would summarize what to do. And this one is for me, I really like to, to encourage everyone to alchemize with each other. We all co-creators of not just the Nym ecosystem and the whole technological use cases, but sort of a future what we at least partially agree on, where privacy is a right of all humans, So mingle, talk to people, get to know people, be nice, and let's make cool things happen. And with that, next slide. And I think Mykola also has two recommendations.
Yeah. So what I love people to do is to kind of like tell more about who you are, because think of this. We as an organization, we exist as an echo chamber. We cannot follow all the people in the world. It's impossible. And we cannot read your mind. So we can't know who you are, what's your background, where you're coming from, what's your aspirations. But then if you will share your profile, if you will, you can do it in privacy preserving manner. There are lots of ways to do it. But when you specify the skills, when you specify your portfolio, previous projects, contributions, accomplishments, either theoretical or practical, you would see that you will find someone who will believe in you. And I think that's when magic starts to happen. It's something like when Daniel, our head of growth in Latam, told me about the girl who is running a mixed node to find money for her university enrollment. I was so surprised that I was like, I want to help you. That's a cool story. Like, we should write about this. This is a perfect example of something unexpected and cool happened. But without that information, I wouldn't know what's going on. So try to also share your ideas explicitly, because then you will see lots of people will say, oh, I believe in it. I like it. I want to support it. And I know some Nym team members who are joining squads because they believe in ideas and they have free time to help with their skill sets. So in that sense, just be open and share the best things that would represent you the way you want to be perceived.
Very nice. And I think we have come to the last slide on the next one. Yeah. And after that, you can take off the presentation. Next, thank you. So what's like immediate next steps, or like where to go from here if you have no idea what to do? Join the squad matchmaking channel on Discord. the application form is opening today. Find your place, meet new people. If you cannot find a squad till the application deadline, that's also more than fine. It's the world's not gonna end. The more persistent and more present you are, you're gonna find your place. I'm pretty sure about that around the Nym ecosystem.
And what's important, Daniel already shared on Mirror an article about the squad processes. I've shared it in Nymja Cadet Telegram chat, shared on Discord. Try to read it, find it. There are useful links. And what's important about the squads matching process, it works all the ways. First of all, you go and highlight your squad as early as possible, so you will have squad members. Your squad member potential with a cool skill set, specify your skill set. And also remember that we, a core Nym community, we read, we watch, we share, we promote these squads internally. So then we will have lots of, actually, you can tell about Friday more, Daniel.
Yeah. So thanks Sudo for sharing the presentation. You can take it off the screen, and I'm gonna tell about what's happening tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna host a Fantastic Friday session again on Jitsi, which is a more laid back one, which is gonna be a Nymja Shark Tank presentation activity, where we thought to prepare kind of for the milestone presentations ahead for the squads, who get selected. So we sort of hope to have or maybe all, but most of the squads who are going to apply to present in 5 minutes about who they are, what they're doing, what they like, or whatever they want to use the 5 minutes for. There's no formal restriction. The idea is to see kind of who's out there, what they're thinking, and maybe this is some good inspiration or maybe some new friends. So that's going to be happening tomorrow in the usual time. We're going to communicate in all the channels. Make sure to join the Shark Tank for Nymjas.
And what's important, if you will miss it, don't worry. It's just for you to highlight, shine out bright within our communities. Find the people who will believe in you, trust in you, and we will continue with this process the next week. So don't worry.
Yeah, and I frequently get this question from many people: that is it, if someone doesn't come for something, is that super bad? And absolutely not. It's totally fine to have different things in your life than to come to this cause or to but the important thing is there's always another opportunity occasion, so you can always skip one, but the important thing is that you show up the next or the further or the one in January or whenever. Cool. I think we have lots of questions, no, Sudo? That's what you want to say.
We do.
So yeah.
Let's
Sorry,
get to
I
those.
used to.
We have a whole bunch of questions. I think what we should do is stay over a little bit and answer all of them. We have a few good ones, but I would like to ask you to keep the easy ones short. Let's just get through them as quickly as possible. There are some that you already answered. I think during the presentation. All right, folks. Let's get started. This question is from Nick. Thanks for the question, Nick. Can I submit the squads on November 15th? I guess the proposal he means.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you can submit before the deadline. Absolutely, yes. After deadline, it's a bit tricky, but if you pull some strings and you write to us that you need 1 more hour, that's also fine. So we're not gonna be super strict, but deadline is deadline. Yeah.
Next one is from Papu, the asker of questions. How to start submitting my contributions?
I can answer this. That's important for us to know who you are, and if you understand as well, and you can highlight your cool skills or applicable to Nym before even squad kind of is operational, and this will really empower our decision making to see like who you really are. There are 2 ways of highlighting contributions. First of all, contributions channel on Discord, voila. And second, you can always use Nymja Cadet TG channel. We have a separate topic called contributions. Try to always highlight your work around Nym. It really helps. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for the answer. Anything to add there, Hux?
No, it was a perfect summary. I'm just checking the questions, and lots of questions in the chat. Okay, let's get going.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get going. Next one is from Rocio. Thanks for another good question. Should all content we create be in English? I will take this one. No,
Please.
and please, actually, let's not do that. So one of the key things that Shipyard and Nym's community efforts are about is to localize Nym, not only in terms of doing the same things in various languages, but also to actually bring the message Nym has closer to people in various regions. So if you can contribute to that, please do so. And no, definitely no, the content doesn't have to be in English. Thanks for the question. All right, next up.
One addition that Mykola, just you said something yesterday that we're looking for, especially people from to produce content in Turkish language. Maybe that's something that's super missing. Just another hint here.
Yeah, and also like, okay, so I will split it into two parts. Use your own language. Great when you understand the local people, their privacy use cases. But when you communicate with us, we have a certain limitation. Maybe Sudo knows one language, I know another language. So it should go two ways. So we use English kind of like to have general understanding what's going on, but then you can approach Daniel if you're Spanish speaking in Latin America, and he could help you with kind of like presenting the squad in this sense to a general team. Or there's a Jackie, head of growth in Asia, who I'm not sure if he knows Mandarin or Chinese, but generally speaking, he will help. And also we have like Nymjas in Vietnam who could help you and stuff like that. So don't be shy. Go out. If you don't speak English, is also great. That's super cool.
Next one.
Yes, next one, please.
Thanks for the great question. Next one is from Max. Is quad participation only for visionaries? I think this is going to be a quick one because you already addressed it, kind of.
Yeah, so you can see how iterative the process is, because we've been having lots of discussions how to call certain things, and we believe that all people are visionaries who are attending all the 3 streams. So basically, but the visionary application process and the visionary rewards require or prefer squads to apply. So there can be many different setups. There can be squads which have members across all different streams. There can be one very talented coder individual who's participating in the hackathon, but also want to submit an application here. So there's no right or wrong here. Generally, as we already said, the more diverse your team is, the better. So ideally, although there's no plus points, but ideally a really good squad or a top performer should have one member on each streams going through a Shipyard level 3. I mean, not mandatory again, but it's nice.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah.
Initially, when we first started thinking about the idea of squads, so what we wanted to recreate was the sort of organic foundation of Pineapple Hive with last year's Shipyard Academy. We started thinking about how we could sort of help you guys go through the same process, and how at least I imagined it. And correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, but there are the 3 tracks here. So these are the 3 tracks: Visionary, Builder, and Operator. And squads sit on top of that. So any combination of tracks is fine for a squad. But like Hux said, diversity is resilience and strength. So if you have people from all tracks, that makes for a really powerful squad. But there's no requirement like that. So you can all be visionaries and work on some really great storytelling, for example, together. That's also totally fine.
Or just to give another example, which can be also an applicant in the visionary track, if there's already a squad working on some other ecosystems doing great stuff and they want to join Nym ecosystem, and operate maybe a node and create content, that's also more than welcome. So that's also not a necessity to participate throughout level 3. It's again,
exactly.
We made it this way so we can be the most diverse as possible, and we can give the creative opportunity for everyone to figure out how they can best contribute. So we hope we're going to achieve this goal.
All right, perfect. Next question will be from Bikram. Thanks for the question, but it's basically the same. So so we're gonna move on because he also asked about the 3 different tracks. Hopefully, the previous answer covered that. Next one is from Oluvision. I don't know. Sorry, I butchered that. So, question is, talk more on individual proposal and how to submit.
Mykola, do you want to take this?
Yeah. So generally speaking, we understand that lots of the people within our program are individuals, basically, and then there will be kind of like left within the parallel track from squads. So you will use the same RFPs, the same type form for sending us your impact proposal. Generally speaking, it's the same direction in ways like what will be your value for a Nym. I will do this. Check this out. So what will be your value for a Nym? No, it's just me. It's my special force. So what will be your value for a Nym? What are your goals? What are the milestones? Then generally speaking, if you're a one-man army, what's your skill set? Like why you will achieve a certain goal. From our experience, I would say that it's still possible to be one-man army around Nym. The question is like, where it isn't scalable? And I think it isn't scalable when you need to, I don't know, if you're a backend and you need a front end and you need to make a website, then you're like searching for other people around. So maybe you can think of you start as an individual and then you will build a squad around the idea, also possible in the future. But then you will use the same link and try to read a Huxian mirror article that has been published today.
All right, thanks for that. Next question is from Papu. What are the opportunities for the individual? Can we join ambassador? Can we join the ambassador program or Zili only? Possible
Okay, here we go.
RFP?
So it's my turf. What's the difference between ambassador and Zili program? We use Zili to kind of like help people to understand what we generally need. Zili, think of it as kind of like a playground. So you would see like what could be done around him for you as an ambassador. Maybe you don't like Zili because it's too competitive. Use it as an educational tool to see what do we really want? What are the tasks are there? Play with them. Create one that you think you're the best in, like writing an article, and then share it on TG in Nymja Cadet contributions page. So then our Nymjas, me, myself, we can check there's an exceptional person, and then try to be active within the contributions, try to show that you really care. Like, for example, there's a Russian guy, Viktor Mann, who is really helpful extremely within the Russian community, and CMs are always saying, we should help him, we should highlight his work, he's really cool. So first of all, be connected with CMs and myself and the other Nymjas, share actively your contributions, and then in the future you can be qualified for becoming an ambassadors. So that's our way. We're trying to combine sort of massive system of competition between the potential ambassadors, but at the same time, so we want to have the process to look for great individuals, like, for example, Dan Freeman here in the chat, who made the Nym home, which is super cool. And he is really a great person. And we found him kind of by accident in ways. Thanks.
Great stuff. Next one, Sudo.
Okay, wait. You got to do a thumbs up. Community's asking for it.
Yeah,
it's not working.
Not me. Not me.
Oh, now it works. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the cap is missing. Sorry, guys, I don't have a cap. I'm working on the problem, so I will get one. I promise. Sorry for this misstep. All right, so next up is from no, that was already asked, from System CLI. Thanks for the question. Does a squad have to announce themselves to show they've entered the hackathon challenge?
Trick question. So I think that there's two separate things here to mention. So if your squad would want to apply for the visionary track, then you need to submit the form, the impact proposal form, And also, preferably, yes, announce yourself on the socials and come to the Friday Shark Tank and present. If you're don't want to apply for the visionary track, but you're participating in the hackathon, that's entirely possible to just do super anon. Like if you're hacking something together, that's a separate reward track, but you can do both as a squad. Do the hackathon and also apply for the visionary track rewards. I hope that answered the question, guys. If any of your questions remain unanswered, feel free to ping me, from any of the groups, that I'm happy to, talk more about these or more if there's more outstanding questions. Can we go to the next one?
Yep, next one. This is also from System CLI. Does a squad have to do anything else to show they enter the hackathon challenge? Oh wait, I think this is basically the same question, right?
Yeah.
Enter the hackathon challenge. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip this one. How will you filter AI submissions?
We're gonna have our best and brightest working at the submissions. You can see at I don't know, three from those team that's gonna filter the submissions. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, AI is part of the game now, right?
Tell me.
For now anyway, we can know that Hux, for example, is not an AI. He looks like one very often, but because we know him personally, he sounds like one, looks like one, a bit less intelligent, but very similar. So I'm just kidding, guys. I love Hux. I hope you know you. Hope you know I love you. So,
actually, it's tricky with AI. For example, within Zilli campaign, we've seen that many people are using ChatGPT to create research on the local use cases for privacy, which is all right if you read it. I mean, it's just a tool, but then if it helps you to educate yourself, what are the privacy use cases in the specific geographies or even in your country, great. But if you use it just to kind of like fake article and pretend that you knows the privacy use case, or you write a nice article, I would say that we always talk to people. So then we will reach out to you as a squad. And then if you're a robot, we would feel it.
And on the note, a quick note on the copy paste kind of content, right? That will never fly, guys. So what we want to see, and I'm keeping a close eye on that. Obviously, I see all the tags on Twitter and whatnot, but I'm looking for people who visibly actually understand what we're all about, and also our tech, right? Not just ChatGPT prompt and then copy paste. That will never work. So, but anyways, good luck trying. Maybe ChatGPT will improve to the point where it'll work, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
One thing here, Bikram asking is super important thing, like what's the tool for the content writing? And I would always say, we've seen this with an ambassador track. Many people are writing things, but no one is reading them. So it's not about writing, it's about what people read your thingy. So I suggest this thing, not limit yourself within the creative process, but write in a way that the other people would be interested in your story, and then bring this story to your local crypto community, to your local privacy tech IT community, human rights community, and share with them, hey guys, I was researching privacy use cases in India, check it out. Receive the feedback, improve yourself. And then in Medium, lots of the people, I'm not talking about you, but specifically different people, they know how to trick the system. So all these collabs, they could kind of generate it with fake accounts. And again, if no one is sharing an article, it means it's not interesting at all. So the thing, try to think about engagement rate. People should share a nice article. And we are building technology that kind of changes the rules of the game in internet forever. And if you're not a good storyteller, it won't work. It won't kind of like scale the Nym within the local, for the local use cases, for example. So it's a tricky thing, but always think about readers, why it will be interested for someone who never heard Mixnet in their life, who has this obscure relation with the privacy. Thanks.
Next one, please.
Yeah, wait a second. Yeah, so next one is from Arif. maximum reward 10K. First of all, let me correct you. It's not a reward. These are grants. So it's a bit of a different. Let's make the mind switch here. So for level 3, there are no rewards at all. There are only grants. So we're looking to collaborate with people and support them in their efforts. So it's not about like. Level 1 and level 2 of Shipyard are more like games, and you can win in the game and learn about privacy and get rewards, right? We can call that rewards, but these are grants. Let's switch our mindset here. So maximum grant is 10K. Is it for a team or even an individual?
Yeah, can I chip in here? So
yeah, of course.
I think the biggest challenge for us to see, guys, was that to develop a system where we really only support initiatives that are creating real value and not just saying things and disappearing after not doing them. So that's why we did this multi-level approach. Like there's certain milestones as I went through all of these. You can also find these in the blog post. And so kind of, I think I wouldn't say that the maximum rewards for a squad, I'd say it's around double or even more that number that we just heard. But for that, a squad has to do exceptionally well, passing all the milestones, and showing that they can deliver real value throughout the course of the next month. So this is more to incentivize people who would be doing this kind of squad and content creation and hacking and developing anyways. And this is how the best way we can support these teams to start up by supporting financially too.
And also important here is for the people who wants to stay with us. So generally speaking, right here and now, you can jump on Zilli and explore your potential there with the cadets track. You can jump on ambassador program and highlight your experience. You can think around how to apply for Nym Innovation Fund, and others actively searching for new projects. You can go and explore the builders track. You can even think of, we have lots of connections with investors who could back your project, who is impacting Nym ecosystem. Why not? So in this sense, squad formation is something that kind of like facilitates the mid-term, long-term journey with Nym. And then you should be kind of like clever in a way how you understand the potential that we can support you with. Maybe it's a startup way. Maybe it's I don't know, like a local activist group that is way bigger than just Nym. And also because we are layer 0, remember this always. So you can always bring people from the different ecosystems and say, let's integrate Nym with whatever, Polygon, Solana, Ethereum, you name it. And there's much, when you're layer 0, the potential is like enormous in this sense.
All right, I think the next question ties into this very nicely. Which is that will squads be able to participate after Shipyard also, Papu? Let me take this one. Not only can they, but the whole point of... so, as I mentioned from time to time, Shipyard is really not to be looked at as a thing in itself, but it's just the beginning of a thing, right? It's the beginning of you becoming involved with the Nym community and with the vision of a private internet. So... the whole idea behind squads is to encourage you guys and support you guys to build these teams, which will then gain trust of each other, start working together, find their mojo together, and do great things. So it's not only can you work after or like participate as a squad after Shipyard, but it's highly encouraged, and that's basically the whole point.
Cool. Just want to inform you that I have 2 minutes. I need to run to my own squad, actually.
Yeah, but I think we've wrapped up. No, did we answer all the questions? There's some duplicates.
We have a few more questions. This is actually an important one. This one is for me. I don't have yet an answer to this. All right, so this is from Max. Can community managers join or form a squad? I will need to give this some thought. So don't quote me on this answer, but I feel like why not? Maybe forming a squad looks a bit weird.
Active contributor sounds super good. Also, what's cool here? So think around this way. It's not about corruption. It's about empowering, understanding what's going on. For example, if a community manager is from Turkey and as Merv and worked with us for quite a while, this person could act as a facilitator for local people exploring Nym, guide those people. What are the use cases? What's specific of the local privacy community? What are the partners? Who is in our local community? And I think the role of a facilitator and this kind of like a community booster or a squad booster works super well within that direction.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
I think Discord
Yeah.
Discord is the right way to answer the other questions that we will have.
Yeah, so the three categories question was asked again by Bikram. I'm gonna skip that again. Yeah, it's okay. So let's generally talk about. I think kind of wrapped up with the questions, but let's generally talk about numbers. You already touched on this here and there in some of these events, squad related events. But what's an ideal squad size? The actual question from Gonjor. Thanks for the question. What about the minimum participants for each squad? I guess we should just maybe cover the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we have a different opinion on that with Mykola, no?
Yeah, I've seen one squad, but I mean in a group. I'm not saying squad because having people in a group is not the same as kind of like squad. And I've seen 12 people in one squad, and I'm like, why do you need at this stage 12 people? Because it will be just a mess, especially communicating with us. I mean, if people have big community, why not? But then I would encourage to have squads like 3, 4, maximum 5 people, because then we can have diversity of squads. Because if you lock lots of talent within one squad and there will be massive amount of people, at the beginning of the squad formation, it will be a big mess because if everyone would run different directions, it's really hard to align them a bit later on. And then some of the talents would be locked under a certain umbrella. And I think it's kind of like, let's start with the diversity, because then the squads could merge within each other, create collaboration between each other, especially if one squad is technical, another is operations track, and third one is content squad. There's room for collaboration there. Huxian, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I would say 3+ is good. So, but I wouldn't put like an upper limit. So I think that, you know, whoever is starting like 100%, trying to make 100% work together, that's really hard. And if they can pull it off, it's super good. You know, there's like really, really big DAOs managing that super fine. So I would say that over 3%, there's no, in my head at least, there's no limit. So if you can, you know, present a organization which works well with 20, 30, 50 people doing their own thing, maybe some more less active, some more active, as I said, it's also cool. But what Mykola said, it also makes sense. So you see that there is really no one perfect recipe, whatever works best for you. But, you know,
I would actually add something here. I think that a squad is a community that also does stuff, right? So has projects, works together. If I think back on how Pineapple emerged back in the day, right? Right now the Pineapple group counts, I don't know, like 40 members or so, maybe even more.
yeah, but we are very social and loose collective. So
Exactly,
we're
but
really more about
that's
chatting and vibing,
that's where I was going with this. Yeah, so I think there are multiple approaches here. When we refer to Pineapple, we kind of refer to that group of 40 people, but actually those who are very involved, there are only a few, like the hardcore. So I think that's also totally fine. This is the nature of things, right? You build a community, you build like nice vibes, and something comes out of that. Naturally, some people will peel off, I think there's no reason to put a number on squads, but you got to make sure that you can work together efficiently, right?
We gotta let Mykola go Sudo very soon, because he has to be somewhere else like already. Do we want to say the outro together without Mykola and thank him for his time?
Actually, I think, didn't Mykola choose the secret phrase for today?
He did.
He did. So yeah, Mykola has to stay. I'm sorry, Mykola.
You say the secret phrase and then you can go.
All right, folks. So big thanks for joining today's event, and hopefully you're gonna come along for tomorrow's workshop as well, also about squads. The secret phrase for today is really long, so Mykola did a terrible job at picking a short one. Same spelling, so capital C, collectivism in action. Mykola, do you want to say a few words on why you chose this phrase?
Because we love when people are collaborating, because then they could multiply the effect and they could really stand out and reach goals faster than acting individually.
All right. Big
And
thanks for
also,
that.
don't forget that layer 0 is a network, and layer 0 are always people in that sense.
Exactly. We are the layer 0 of the world.
Layer 0 of layer 0. Layer -1.
Thanks,
Exactly.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mykola.
everyone. Wait, let me just. Mykola, you can leave. Hux, stick with me
Yeah,
because
see you.
I'm free
Ciao,
alone.
Mykola.
Ciao,
Bye,
ciao.
Mykola. All right. So just to recap what you already know, I think everybody knows this URL by heart now, but I will still say it: nymtech.net/poap/go/poap. Oh my god, I can't speak. Anyways, go to that URL. Hopefully, it was shared in the chat as well, and enter the secret phrase in the same exact spelling. You only have 15 minutes for this, as usual. Yeah, so next steps, I didn't create that slide today because basically tomorrow is going to be rather quiet. You can join the workshop with Hux and Mykola, and hopefully myself as well. And then we're getting ready for an exam-less, very chill, very quiet weekend. Anything to add there, Hux?
Yeah, for those who are thinking or still having questions around squads or having crazy ideas or things to share or want to present themselves, make sure to come or send at least one person who can talk a little bit about what you're thinking. It's one of the best ways to already show yourself to us, to each other. And yeah, I'm just marketing my session again for tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I did give the CM question some thought right now, and I actually made a decision. So this is official. CMs can join squads. So if you're a Nym CM, I'm also going to be informing CMs about this. But if you're a Nym CM and you're thinking about joining one of the squads that are forming, then feel free to do so.
Nice.
There's actually no conflict of interest there. It's just pure fun. Right?
Super nice, boss. Nice decision. Very, very good. Very happy.
All right, folks. Well, on that note, sorry for going over by 70 minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed this session just as much as we did. Thanks for the amazing questions. Yet again, we're getting really good ones every single session, so that's very much appreciated. See you tomorrow at the workshop and also in the channels if you have any questions. Someone asked me, what did I answer to that question? Yes, I did. No, wait. Someone asked me they're going to set up a node. Yeah, Igor is going to set up a node this Saturday, and he was asking whether anyone's going to be around. So if hope people are around, people keep an eye on chats during weekends as well. But our largest node operator community for now is the one on Telegram, which I shared. So if your question is not answered, then make sure to drop it there. Or if all else fails, you can also ping me on Element directly, and I will try to find someone to fix your issues. Okay, now we're just blabbering on. Sorry, guys. We gotta cut this. Really nice to have you on, Hux, once again.
Thank you for the opportunity again. Thanks for the lovely questions, guys. I've seen that we haven't answered some questions. Please ping me and send your question to me. I'm happy to answer them personally if you're still interested in those answers, or tomorrow at the session. Both works. Sudo, do we have a question for you? Do we have another session today at Shipyard? In Shipyard?
No, we don't. I mean, I hope we don't, because then we're late by 20 minutes and people are waiting. So,
thank you everyone for joining. Have a fantastic rest of Thursday. See you tomorrow or next week.
See you all tomorrow. Much love, guys. Bye-bye.